I'm wearing black today for this video because I'm in mourning for all of y'all's favorite horror movies that y'all thought was the scariest. Move over, we have the new scariest movie of the decade. Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to my channel. I am so excited to dive into today's video. My name is EJ and we have a deliciously crazy horror movie that I had the privilege of seeing early. We are talking about Longlegs. Waiting. With one of the most deliciously crazy marketing campaigns of the year, those trailers for Longlegs have been so weird, so chilling, and my goodness, did I think this movie wasn't going to be able to keep up with it. Like, I was just like, great marketing, great premise, what can they do? My goodness, this movie slapped me in the face. I have not been this scared in such a long time. I can think the last time I sat in the theater this terrified, this like, I don't want to watch this, but let me watch it, but also I don't want to watch it. I have not felt like that since Hereditary. Before that, since Sinister. This movie, Longlegs, it's just so goddamn scary. It's the sense of dread. It's not just jump scares. Do not get confused thinking this is jump scares every 5 minutes. It's a sense of dread. From the time the movie begins, you don't want to be there. Like, and I mean that positively. You're drowning in dread. It is the most hard, the most heavy movie I've seen in a while. It's just, since you get into this universe, you're like, oh, it's hard to breathe. Oh my God. And then it's just such a chilling, great opening that really sets the mood. And then you jump into like the main story and it's giving you shocking moments off the gate. This movie really has it all. It is jump scares, sure, but it's also gory, sure, but it's also psychological thriller. There's maybe a little religious aspect to it. Maybe there's just a slight little paranormal edge to it. There's so many pieces that come together to make it a perfect horror experience. And that's what you need. You need all of those elements. So many people try to go for gore, or they go for jump scares, or they go for the atmosphere. This movie is all of those things mixed together. That's why I think it's so good. Director Perkins, who is Anthony Perkins' son, who's been in, an actor who was in Legally Blonde, who's also done movies like The Black Coat's Daughter and Gretel and Hansel. My goodness, bro, can I give you a hug? Because this is a dark movie. I can imagine after writing this, after directing it, being on set, I would need to go home and watch like SpongeBob episodes to unwind, because it's such a heavy film. And I love that these filmmakers, I mean, we have Nicolas Cage, Maika, Monroe, like Blair, Underwood. We have really, really good filmmakers who are used to dealing with heavy material. But even them, I was just like, how would you unwind from this? This movie has the crime elements you would get from a Girl with a Dragon Tattoo or a Silence of the Lambs, but it's mixed in a delirious culty horror way that we've never seen before. It's like all of these ideas and all of these concepts from different movies were put into a ball, and it doesn't feel like a hodgepodge of things. It doesn't feel like it's all jammed together. It all blends together in this throwback horror experience that's truly so goddamn scary. I cannot give you many details about Longlegs because I had the privilege of seeing it with little information, so I want to give you guys that same benefit. I will say it is a serial killer story. We have a FBI agent, Lee Harker, who is played by Maika Monroe, who is hunting a serial killer named Longlegs. Now, it seems like she's a bit strange. She's really good at her job, like very, very good, to the point where they really put her, this young girl, on this case that they've been working on for quite some time because they think she's able to figure it out. But Longlegs, played by Nicolas Cage, is much different than the average killer, is much different than you would ever expect. There's layers to the story that really takes you along. So basically, we're just trying to figure out the mystery. And that's one of the biggest things I loved about this. This movie allowed you to figure out the mystery along with you. Like, it put you as the second detective. It made you also an FBI agent. So you're trying to put your own, like, well, this is connected to this, but is it this? Is it this? Where is this? Who is this? I love that. I was able to have my own mystery solving moments here because I see the Knives Out, the Agatha Christie adaptations from Kenneth Branagh. I see these modern mystery movies and they're like, aha, I figured everything else off screen and now I'm going to do an exposition dump. This movie in a way held your hand and took you through this journey with them. And like I said, it felt like you were the partner to the FBI where you're trying to figure this out. So you're going through all of this and layers are unfolding. We're meeting new characters. We're finding out new things about Longlegs that you don't want to find out. And it's so gripping. I was glued to my seat to the point where once the credits started rolling, I went to go talk to the PR lady who like set up the screening, and I was just like, "Hey, what'd you think?" And she jump scared because she was so sucked into the movie still. Like the lights had just come on. It's just one of those experiences that you don't often get. Where I was excited to see this by myself in the theater where I was able to eat my candy and be really scared, but I want to see it in a packed audience where everyone can be sucked into the twists, into the turns. I want to hear that person in the back that's just like, "Girl, do not go in that room, he's there." Like, I want those elements, those key parts that really make a experience great. But I think this movie works well in a theater, packed or empty. It could work well at home. You can watch it at a drive-in theater and still be terrified. It's an overall one of those films that's just, I don't want to say timeless, but it's just effortlessly scary, and it just feels like it could work in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 20s, and now. It's just so great to see a horror film that really puts all of its oomph into being a horrifying experience. To move away from plot stuff, because again, I do not want to spoil anything, I really want to shout out the cinematography. I want to shout out the sound design. I want to shout out the makeup work. My goodness, first off, camera work. There was a lot of zooms. This movie feels very 70s, 90s with its camera work, where it's not afraid to move the camera, not like dollies, but zooming. Zooming is a lost art, where there would be times where we were zooming in on something and you can't really make it out. And the more we zoom in, I'm like, we don't need to zoom in anymore. I'm good. I'm good on zooming. Stop. I don't want to see what's there. I love those moments. That's good filmmaking where you're using the camera to build a scare. It's not just the music. It's just, it's so utterly creepy. So we have those zooms. We have the camera work. The aesthetic of this movie looks great. We switch up the aspect ratio to really tell you where we are in terms of sequences and, plot points and stuff like that. Genius stuff there. The sound design, it's loud. It's in your face. There's times where people would turn a page of a book and you would be like, like, I love that stuff. I love the elements that they used in the camera department, in the sound department to really enhance the overall experience. I think this movie could have been on mute and still been scary. It could have had a singular camera in one room in the corner and still been terrifying. So that's, again, it's good acting, it's good writing, it's good directing, but I have to shout out the technical people, the people who made this happen other than Oz Perkins and the actors, because my goodness, a round of applause to all of y'all. And wow, the special effects team. Nicolas Cage is in some kind of look. I don't really want to talk about too much, again, plot stuff, but he has a prosthetic on, I would say. Amazing work. The gore, when people would get killed, you'd be like, oh my goodness. There's like little dolls that we see throughout the film, terrifying as well. Every little detail from the art department, the visual effects people, some of the vague CGI that's here, everything, art department, sound team, camera department, round of applause. A technical achievement that you guys all did here. Low budget indie horror filmmaking can look good, can look expensive. This movie looked better to me than some of the $100 million blockbusters I've seen this year. Straight up, it's a personal preference, sure, but I just think this movie looks, sounds, and feels so good, so utterly terrifying. Well, everyone, that is it for my review of Longlegs. I've been wanting to talk about this movie since I've seen it. I'm now able to talk about it with you guys. I want to get into spoilers. I want to get into everything, but I'm going to wait closer to the date. So this is my early review, my hyping up this movie being legit that goddamn scary. So get your tickets, get ready. This is the horror movie of the year for me. All right, everyone, what did you think of this review? What do you think of Longlegs? If you've seen it already, one of those few people who have seen it, what did you think? If you haven't, are you hyped for it? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth and give us a thumbs up because I make videos like this every single week. All right, everyone, let's talk about Longlegs and horror films right down below.